Hi, I'm here today to introduce to you two brand new models in the Yamaha Clavinova series. They're called CVP, the V for versatile. That means they've got a great rhythm section that gives you accompaniments and backings. They've got a great sound section with hundreds of sounds that will make you sound like all the instruments out of the orchestra. And you've also got a song feature where you can record yourself play and you can join in with your own playing to make it much more fun while you're learning. Now this is the CVP-701. This is the first model in the range, about £1,800, nice instrument. If we go on to the one over here, this is the next model up out of the three main models, and the 705 will give you a lot of extra features. This is about £3,300. Let me go through some of the features and let you know what the main differences are between these two. And take a look at our ePianos.co.uk website, where there's loads more details and you can learn all about the differences for yourself. So the first thing I've got here is the cabinet. The cabinet is 7 centimetres longer and the length of the instrument on the 705, but the lids are quite different too. We have on this one a pull down straightforward lid. The CVP-705 has quite a clever hinge lid, and all the controls fold down within the lid itself. Another thing that's really useful on the 705 is we have the page holders, and this means when you've got these big books, they're not going to keep folding closed again. You can flip these up and the pages will stay open. It sounds very corny, but they're very useful and great for these large books that you can buy nowadays. Okay, let's open these lids back up again. Another feature we can see, look, is this screen. The screen on here, this is a 4.3-inch screen. So relatively small, and all the controls are down the side and along the bottom to touch you onto relevant features of the screen that you want to select. Now when we go across to the 705, the screen is actually a touch screen. We touch the screen to select, we can touch the screen to go between different choices, and it's great fun to use. It's a bit like a tablet, and we can go back to all the options on the menu just like a tablet with our little icons. So it's a great way to navigate around the instrument using this screen, and that's a new addition over the 701 screen. It's a great way to use it. Now one of the features that's much better on the 705 to the 701 is the key action. The key action on the 701 is plastic keys. It's a good action. It does feel like a piano to play, but the keys are made of plastic, and Yamaha have made them a bit closer to a real piano by giving you synthetic ivory caps on all of them, so they feel that sort of grip that you get on real ivory on the keys of a piano. Now when you get to the 705 have the same ivory feel caps on them, synthetic ivory, but also the keys are made of wood. If you look, all these white keys all have wood inside. You can see they're made of wood, and that gives you a much more realistic feel to the keyboard action. The black notes don't give you that, it's not so important, but all the white keys have that wood inside them, and it feels much closer to a real piano to play. So for those of you who've been playing for more years, you'd probably appreciate that wooden feel on the better model. One of the features of the CVP series is the rhythm and backing section. Now for those of you who haven't seen our video we've already produced explaining the benefits of a CVP. The CVPs have a rhythm section that give you an accompaniment whilst you play a chord in one or both hands or your right hand, and this will give you a backing, a bit like a band would have, that would give you a full accompaniment sound. Drums, bass, chord, maybe piano and guitar strumming in the background, and this gives you a much fuller sound and makes the whole playing experience much more fun. Now the CVP series, the 701 has quite a few styles. It has 310, which is quite a large selection of styles, and each of those have 4 variations, the A, B, C and D, which give you alternative backing. So you've actually got 4 lots of 310 styles. They also give you 3 intros, so you've got like an introduction to your song and a choice of 3 endings to finish your song off as a nice sort of close to the ending of your song. Now when you get to the 705, the 705 will give you a much larger choice. We've got 470 styles compared to 310, and again we've got these 3 intros, 3 endings, And every one of those 470 have 4 variations, so loads and loads of choice, and that makes it great fun to play. Now 4 of the styles that are in the 705 are a very new concept. They've come from the Tyros 5 flagship keyboard model, and what that does is it gives you these big full warm sounds, but you don't have to keep to a rhythm beat. There's no beat at all, so you can sound really big and full, great for film music, because you get this big sweepy full sound from the chord you're playing, but there's no beat to keep up with. And this is this new sort of style which is becoming very ethereal and very full to use when you're playing some powerful music. A great feature. The other thing that is quite obvious on these two is the sounds. You've got these voices. Now the voices range from choices of pianos that you'd be expecting to play on an instrument like this, but also guitars, orchestral strings, brass, woodwind instruments, solo instruments, synthesizer sounds, drum sounds. So we've got all these choices that are built into them, and that will vary the amount that you're getting. So on the 701 you'll get 777 different sounds, which is brilliant. Great choice of instruments, and if you want to get that specific voice to suit your song, the chances are there'll be one of those in there, 777 to choose from. And we can tweak these voices, we can add effects to them and add different enhancements to make them nearer to the sound you want to create. When we go to the 705, we've got 984, so there's an extra 200 that you can go into, and they're better sounds. They're newer, higher profile voices which will make you sound much better. The voices are actually included. We've got a choir section where they sound like choirs from the Munster Cathedral and vocal Latin singers and things. So you've got lots of extra sounds because the calibre of the 705 is much higher. And another feature that the CVPs offer you is to be able to play back your own songs. They give you a set of preset songs. You get in the 701, you get 65 songs built into it that Yamaha have painstakingly recorded in that you can play along with. Now if you're a great player, you might want to just improvise along with the sounds that are playing. You get the music on the screen so you can follow the notes, and there's actually this tab along here, this bar here. Look, you can see a little split point light on here, and this is the lights that come up when you want to follow a song. The music becomes on the screen. You actually get the score. I can show you by pressing this button. You get the music coming up on the screen itself, and we can make that larger so we can see it clearer. And we can follow the notes on the screen, or we can follow the red and green lights to help us to learn to play something new. Great for children who are too young maybe to have a piano lesson, or an older person who might feel they're too old to go to piano lessons. This allows you to be taught from within the instrument. It's very intuitive, and it gives you a lot of encouragement, a lot of help. And now when you get to the 705, we've got a much bigger screen, so those notes are going to be much clearer to read. But also we have the light still, and we can use the same viewer for our music. Now there's also a facility on the 705, if you've got a load of songs you want to play, maybe you're playing in a venue, you can actually have a note page screen where you can have notes that you've written for your set list, and that will go through and explain what little notes you've written in to make it clearer to follow through some songs you want to play. You can record your own songs. You've got these songs that Yamaha have recorded, but you could actually use up to 16 different tracks and record the bass and the drums, or just the piano parts, and then you can join in over the top. And when you're learning to play, one of the great features of these, you could record in maybe the right hand that you're more confident about, and then we can play that back, or we can then play into it the left hand, or join in with the left hand to give you some kind of help when you're learning to play a new piece of music. Another of the new features on the CVPs is that you can now play back music that you've taken from maybe a CD or from the internet. These keyboards allow you to play back WAV files. So there's a feature on here we can load in through a USB memory stick, and this allows us to put a song in there from a CD or a WAV file, and we can then join in with it. It might just be the vocal track. One of the ones I quite like joining in with is a lady's vocal track. I've got an Adele track, and I can play it back, and I can play the piano part while she sings alongside my playing. I'm playing alongside her really, but it gives you the feature to actually accompany somebody that you love listening to and perform with them. Really good. Now the 705 allows you to play back MP3 as well as WAV files. So a bit more versatile. The WAV files will play, but MP3s are quite used these days, and we can just load in through the USB stick an MP3 file, and that will play and we can join in with it. So Yamaha Repertoire is an app that's available. Stick your iPad on the music rest here. We can connect it up to the same internet connection, and we can use it to load into your instrument registration settings. That's settings including drums and sounds into the instrument that we can then use, which have been made up by somebody else around the world. Really good feature, and you can upload your favourite settings for particular songs, and they can be accessed through like the iTunes store, and you can sync the sounds into your keyboard, or people can use your sounds in theirs if you allow them to. And it's a great way to share your settings and learn about different ways to use the instrument. So plenty more apps are out to use with the CVPs, but the 705 upwards allows you to use the Repertoire app. Now, one of the impressive things of going to the higher model of these two is the speakers. The speakers on the 701 are just 25 watts each. That will give you a big sound, but the 705 has a massive 250 watts and two 20 watt speakers. And this gives us a much grander sound, it's much richer and more pleasing when you're playing, and giving an overall much bigger sound. So the 705 is quite impressive in sound quality. So which piano should I buy? We've got both CVPs here, the 701 and the 705. The 701 is amazing value for money. You've got hundreds of voices, hundreds of style accompaniments. I think the limitations is probably the keys aren't wood, they're plastic, so they won't feel quite as accurate to play. The screen is a little bit smaller. For some people that might be a problem. It's not quite so big and clear when you're following notes on the screen or looking for your voices. But as an instrument, it's great. It's just over £1,800 at the moment, and I think it's a fantastic price for such a versatile instrument. Now when we compare the 705 has got lots of extra features. It links up to iPads. You get a free wireless LAN adapter to link it to the broadband. We've got wooden keys, so it feels much more accurate for pianists to play. The screen is that much clearer. It's a touch screen, which is a bit more exciting to use. So I would say if you've got the extra money, this is about £3,300, and it gives you a lot more to adjust, a lot more to fiddle with, and a much more accurate instrument to play. So if I was a pianist and I could afford this one, I think it's worth the extra money to gain the facilities that you don't have on the 701. Don't forget, all these features are on our website, ePianos.co.uk. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, or send us an email. We'll be pleased to help you in your selection of your next piano. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon.